The Oklahoma City Thunder have a big-time offseason ahead of them. They have one of the best young cores in the NBA. This is another team with a great developmental, a great team that they need to develop with Shai Gilgeous Alexander, with Josh Giddey, Jalen Williams, Lou Dort, everybody that they've drafted over the last few years. It is now time to see those draft picks pay off with an NBA play-in push, maybe even a playoff push. This was a team that was sitting as the 9th or 10th seed for the majority of the season, and they did it without their number 2 overall pick in Chet Holmgren. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, but also about what they need to do this offseason, so make sure to like button, leave me a comment down below, and hit the subscribe button as well as sticking around till the end of the video. It'll really help us out as well. Now let's go and get started looking at the offseason preview here. They have the number 12 overall pick in the draft, which is quite lower than the last few years. They're not going to be able to go out and get that big-time prospect that they're used to having on the roster, but they also have number 35 and number 37 early in the second round, and then $35 million to spend in free agency, with their only key free agent being Dario Saric, who I think it'd be nice to have him back, but maybe they end up not bringing him back. We will see about all that, but you got 12, you got 35 million, make a splash this offseason. We're going to go ahead and start off by looking at the draft. And remember, last year's number 2 overall pick, like I just said, Chet Holmgren didn't play a single minute in this year's season. So he's a guy that they're looking forward to having back next year. It's almost like having the number 2 overall pick in this year's draft, even though you almost made the playoffs last year. He's a guy at 7'1" that can dribble, pass, and shoot, kind of like a Walmart version of Victor Wembanyama, to be honest, but he's a guy with all sorts of potential. And then they also have Ousmane Dieng. I believe I finally said it right. If not, let me know how to pronounce it down in the comments below. But they also have him back, who he basically missed the majority of last year. Now at number 12, here's some guys you're looking at. I really like Maxwell Lewis for them. I just feel like the similarities between him and Jalen Williams they're definitely there. Both out of the West Coast Conference, both wings that average 17 or more points a game, 6 rebounds, and can really defend, but they were also efficient. If his beginning of the season was flipped with his back half of the season, I think he'd be, consensus lottery pick for sure, but he just didn't finish strong in conference play the way, you would have liked. Jordan Hawkins is also there, a guy that can really shoot it, who definitely, is in contention for being picked here at 12 by the Thunder, but I think he will slide down the board a little bit. And then the new guy, the riser, Bilal Coulibaly, who I just did a full in-depth video on, so make sure to go check that out if you don't know who this guy is. But yeah, I'll leave that video if you want to hear some analysis on him, but a guy with all kinds of potential, plays on Victor Wembanyama's team over in France. That's really how he got discovered, but man, all kinds of potential there in Coulibaly. Now, a big splash. I think the Thunder need to make a big splash this offseason. This would be the season to do it before they have to extend Shai, Giddey, Dort, all those guys, although they already extended Shai and Dort, and they still have a good amount of money. But it doesn't necessarily have to be DeAndre Ayton. He's just a guy that I kind of thought of. 18 points a game, 10 rebounds, 1.7 assists. The Suns, considering moving on from him, I think he would be a nice big man to have for the next 3 years and just try it out. If not, when his contract expires, then you can let him go. But 59% from the field, only 29% from 3 and 0.8 blocks. But Holmgren can protect the rim. You got good defensive wings. The rim protection would not be an issue in Oklahoma City if you bring DeAndre Ayton in. And again, he's 24 years old. So he's just a guy, don't flame me down in the comment sections, but he's a guy maybe you look to bring in, or you look to maybe bring in a wing, experienced, star caliber wing. You have a lot of assets to move. You have that Clippers pick actually it's your own pick because it was a pick swap in 2023. In 2024, you have Houston, the Clippers, and your own pick, as well as Utah's. A lot of picks next year for this Thunder team. This is a team potentially making the playoffs that could have 2 or 3 lottery picks next year, which is crazy. Now, in 2025, you also have some picks. 2026, you have your own Houston, the Clippers. 2027, you have Denver's and your own. 2028, only 1 first rounder. 2029, only 1 first rounder. That's kind of where the end of their picks went. But 2024, 5, and maybe even 2026, you could be looking at more future lottery picks. So you definitely have an extended timeline due to all these future picks. Now, the free agent market, like I said, Dario Saric is a free agent, but he's a guy that I think you'd look to bring back. 7.4 points per game, 4 rebounds, 1 assist. A guy that I think, could help out in a contending team right now. Just a veteran to have in that locker room. He also shoots at 52% from the field, 39% from 3 in 13 minutes a game. So definitely a guy that I would bring back if I was Sam Presti and the Oklahoma City Thunder. Of course, on a smaller contract, nothing crazy, nothing more than maybe $8 million a year for 2 years. He hasn't played really for anywhere to deserve that. But do you save the cap for the young guys? That's a question here. Josh Giddey, Chet Holmgren, all your young guys here are going to be needing extensions over the next few years. You don't have a great 3-and-D wing yet, but Jalen Williams, Lou Dort could develop into that. Maybe you look for one this offseason with that money you have. Y'all just let me know, Thunder fans, down in the comments below. What do y'all think you should do? Both of these guys could be retained by their teams, but are likely going to be free agents. So maybe you go after a Christian Wood or a Kyle Kuzma to bring off the bench for about $15 to $20 million a year. Kuzma may be up closer to $25 million. But like I said, both are expected to walk. Mavs are not expected to bring back Christian Wood, and Kuzma is he's an unrestricted free agent, so it doesn't look like the Wizards are going to be able to bring him back, although they could, and I think they want to. It's just a matter of Kyle Kuzma doesn't want to be there. The lineups for next year could be as follows if they play their cards right. Of course, they could go completely different to what I'm saying. And, Shai Gilgeous Alexander, Josh Giddey, Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren, DeAndre Ayton. That is a playoff team right there. Especially if Shai is going to have anywhere near the season that he had last year, where he put up almost 32 a game on 50% shooting from the field, which is just outrageous. But, yeah, this is a team that I think is going to make the playoffs next year, especially if they make those additions. Even if they don't make those additions, you move Chet to the 5, maybe move Jalen Williams down to the 4 and play Lou Dort at the 3. Maybe Lou Dort starts for Jalen Williams anyway, and I'm just too much of a Jalen Williams believer to put him on the bench. But looking at the projected bench next year, if you make the moves, like I said, this is what you're working with. Not really a backup point guard, but you could stagger Giddey and Shai Gilgeous Alexander minutes to have one of them on the court at all times. Isaiah Joe proved to be a really, really good shooter last year. You bring Dario Saric back. You bring in Maxwell Lewis in the draft. As much as I like Koulibaly, I think he's going to the Raptors. I don't think he's going to the Thunder. And then you got Lou Dort there, who, like I said, could very well be starting. And then Christian Wood coming over from the Dallas Mavericks, who it's kind of common knowledge he is not going to be a Maverick next year. So maybe he comes over to the Oklahoma City Thunder and is their starting power forward. Now, looking at the other reserves that they have on this squad, you got Trey Mann, point guard, a lot of potential still. Tore it up in the G League when they sent him down there, but couldn't really get it going last year in the NBA. You've got Kendrick Williams and Jeremiah Robinson Earl. So a lot of talent on this Thunder team. It's just going to be a matter of, can they put it all together and make it work to go for a playoff push? I'm sure Shai is tired of the losing. I would be if I was him. It might be just personal for him this year. Time to put the team on his back. With that being said, that's going to be it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like button and hit the subscribe button, as well as turning the post notifications on if you do enjoy today's video at any point. And with all that being said, thank you so much for watching today's video.